This is the network service of the NTA.
But how will they go for chill like this?
Sagiba is good.
Sagiba. Atumba.
I'm doing good.
Where you Atumba?
I have
What? I am a woman leader. Me, I know understand this kind of. Now you want to do party for your sister if you can either way.
but wait till they find time. My sister, we know about it.
To ask you the do party and with the follow you got it just. Why you ever say you won't carry me do business?
But me, Ajibala. I don't say you go talk to Aram now before person talk anything. Oh, you don't go pass Aram. Everything be Aram for now.
It is Haram mana.
See, I don't know why you're not like to do this thing.
See, not be Yoruba only they do am. Now sure be na everybody they do am.
You go sell me clothes where you don't add profit, John. Take me do business. I want them haram ne. Haram business.
I don't talk before. Bobo still do Aram no.
Haram.
Now everything be Aram for your one.
Haram.
Let me tell you something. This culture has spread nationwide. And in fact, we are proud that we are spreading the culture.
Of course the whole nation or something.
We will know the doing, pa. We know the doing.
You say anything?
We know the doing.
Hey, Ajibala, no talk down for my ear again. Waiting the mother's night. Waiting and they do for them. Ajibala, you know how many where I don't attend? On top of my friend that thinking when they do wedding. Make I tell you, man. For this country, no people sabi show wealth like your people like this. And make I even tell you, for this my life, I never ever see display of wealth. Competition where they see for that person.
A woman leader, either one are the culture where people import from outside.
See, now you blame it on importation. I thought you just said that it doesn't exist in your culture.
Oh, don't buy me, mama.
Why you dey answer? Why not like hypocrite? Never. See, but why you about to do this?
I bet leave that one. We answer me, Ajibala.
Gaskiya, I know the boy. I will come your party, anything where I get, I dash the couple. She cannot.
Yeah, so only the couple you go down.
I go even dash your village chips up. Before make I dash you.
Come on, I like me caution. You say you will not buy crop. Yeah, now.
Wait. You've been talking something about pleasant to be finished.
Thank you. At least, Ajibala, me, I will give you presents to buy this clothes now.
How?
Hey, you never sabi. We dey give people presents for the Yoruba wedding.
Which kind of pleasant be that one? See, one person don't think you do better business. See, make I tell you something. Person go buy clothes. You go come put like 5,000 or even 10,000 on top of the money. Come take and sell and give you. If you don't come the wedding, you know what they go do? They go carry 300 naira bucket, plastic bucket. He go give you. And you know that if you don't take it, you will lose that complete bucket.
A gift. Wallahi, Igbo knows having business.
Igbo know the cheap. Na business we start. Oh yes.
Now you make some of una, they do drug business. Let me say, even when that minister, when she catch them, they nearly killed the woman.
I've been here say for Yoruba party, they give live goats for their party.
Oh, which kind of live goat is that?
Chili, that type of Hausa goats now, when they get this thing, they carry for your chair.
You serious?
I don't know. See, there's one very rich Yoruba woman like this. She used to do it too.
I'm going to answer again. I want to tell her go house.
I carry for your motor.
See, when you're talking about motor, you're talking about people like us. Big people that have motor. You understand? What of people like Odo that does not even have keke na pep, but I not talk about
motor. You have to carry it anyway. If possible, carry it on his shoulder. But if you get to his house.
But you know, if you carry it on your shoulder, the goat will be crying. And if it's crying like this.
That one concern anybody. For me, if I don't carry the goat to reach out, I don't kill her, don't put pepper, don't put everything, don't spice her, wait they fire. You go see the sharp.
Well, now we sabi enjoying life. Enjoy your rewind.
My baby.
Wait, let us do business. And it is very good everybody is here so that you will be my witness. Dubai. If I buy one cloth, what will be my gift? Jelona, I have options. One, you will give me a car. 2, aeroplane.
Oh, no problem.
3, helicopter.
That's my secret. You just buy one.
But
when you will see.
I cannot deceive you. If you go to the party, they will give you car.
Oh, tell her now. You don't sabi anything.
Okay, let me tell you. That thing does not exist. You understand? In fact, if they tell you lie, no, they can't tell us for this place.
Why were you alone? Kai, una very funny one line here.
Yamodina.
What?
How you doing?
How many of them won't eat? When a partner come like sardine.
Yamodina, which kind of talk be that one again?
No behind back, they carry your friends, come they do.
See. Manasseh, download. I don't get this woman time, I beg. If when I finish, when I'm meeting fast, I will see the cost of this one now. Why do you want to stop person like this now? Calm down,
Bob, calm down.
Bob, you calm down yourself now.
What's it?
I start shaking for
Yes! You always talk too much. No need to say everybody there. See, Madam, listen to me. Listen. Just listen. I don't want to so many times. Listen to me. I don't want to so many times. Any of us come a restaurant.
Yamodina, me I don't like this kind of way they do. See, no they insult my friends. I don't like them. Now hunger, we are hunger. Now you carry me control.
If you want job, come alone.
If you come here,
somewhere, go
I beg, give me my normal one. Give me 2 amala. 2 said go do me. Give me 3, I beg.
3 now 1 5.
1 5. Make am see.
Oh, yeah, 1 5. Pay, madam.
Hey, Otuma, you said I should go and bring your...
Oh, yes, right away. Let me just transfer the cash. You said 10,000.
10,000, very new. I trust.
Auntie me.
Okay, all right, just check your phone.
Hey! Look at people that know the value of it. 10,000 naira sitting, short. See a lot. Otuba, the boy is good. The boy is good.
Thank you, ma'am.
I trust.
Wait.
Enjoy my life.
Yeah, Dubai. Let us talk business.
Sorry. Hello? Hello? Oh, Senator. Yes. Oh, yes, sorry, I took my leave in a hurry. Okay. Oh, another party. Tonight. Awesome. Oh, I'll be there. Oh, at the Ogun State Level Office. Absolutely, I will be there. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey! Otuba! It will be something of joy to attend one of these your parties. So. Wouldn't it? Hey, Otuba, what do you want to eat today? Otuba now.
That will never end.
If you don't want to take me to your party, tell me what you want to eat.
Christy?
Auntie?
What is going on there?
I want to take Otuba's order.
Since when are you going to order?
Yami, please don't even worry yourself. I'm not ready to eat right now. Yami, Adafu. Opa jet. Wapa Yami. Oh, Yamodina.
Also, this one is sample. The material is in the car.
Okay.
Let me go and get it for you.
All right. Manasseh. Can I have Richard card? My regular.
You do my shit, I beg. Make I just finish chop. I will go get up for you.
Okay.
I am not boy. I am is one kind. All these business people, they want to change dollars. Hello, you want to change dollars? No, call me later. Like me, I did for a restaurant. You know, Iyamodina na. I told you, call me back. I can take you. You know, when I eat Iyamodina food, I know the correct. My brain will lie, you know the ring.
But like you're not well.
Thank you very well. You know all those people.
Thank you, Daddy Bala. Unreal. For those of you who are not buying the material, at least you can buy the cap. It's only 5,000 naira.
You want sell cap again?
At least you will buy something.
Yes, now you can buy the cap without having to.
See, some men buy only the cap. It's just a way of identifying with the selling brand. And it's not expensive. It's only 5,000 naira.
Hey! 5,000. For one cap.
Gigi, you are a rich man. Spend this money. Have it. Try it. Spend the money on yourself and stop doing like I can go.
Don't worry. Of course I know I mean.
Try it, Gigi. Try it.
Take it easy. One thing you should know about me is that I am the importer, exporter, ice, water. Elias, money is not the problem. Do you understand? So don't even go there, but let me check it. You know I used to like it when I sit on top of something.
You see? Now you can have one for yourself.
But Auntie Peggy, what do you want to take wear now?
As how?
As how now?
Wear it on top of your clothes.
Wait, I am an cheated. Now native clothes that they take wear. You get?
You know good like this.
Oh.
I don't think what
Why you understand? Guy. Chili, I beg not kill me with laughing. I want to go faster like this. You want make people to love you?
Nobody will laugh at you, Jare. Wear it as you are very fine.
Wait. You said nobody will laugh at you.
No.
They are already laughing at me. I said nobody will laugh at you.
Come, Balahi.
Madam Olon Jare back. You can wear it as you are. Wear it on top of your coat. I promise you, nobody will laugh at you. Madam Olon Jare.
Come on, leader. Wallahi, you are very wicked somebody. How you go take wear this kind of thing?
How can't he wear it? Mind your business. You know how many you buy.
When you of the president.
In fact, Otumba, I'm sure you will agree with me. The best way to promote our culture is if our governors now, if they wear different dresses of different ethnic groups on different days of the week. Let me give you an example. Like the governor of Lagos State now, if he wears Yoruba today, he can wear the Igbo traditional attire tomorrow. Then on another day, he can wear Isoko, and so on and so on.
That one, if the clothes fit on fast.
Wait, John.
Depend on the body way wear now.
See, you people, me, I thought about it very well. Very well, because you know, so I can be supplying them.
Wait, see, the most important one, our president, he can be the best idea, most appropriate cultural ambassador of our country, promoting the dress culture of our country to the whole world. That one, if the clothes fit on, like I say, what if the president, let's say, the president is short, like this, like make I don't even color because the feet just can't carry. What if the president is just short? He can't get a big belly and big backside. He can't wear that kind of clothes. I don't know which people that wear them now, but I don't tell them before. They go wear tie wrapper, they go come wear singlet, they go come carry walking stick, they go come see. What if the president wear that kind of clothes? I mean, you know, people know go come they look like Ikebe one time for never.
People do wear it. And it will be funny seeing our president wear skirts over here.
Man, they wear skirts.
Well, anyway, let me answer your question. In a country like Scotland, yes, men wear skirts, and they call it kilt. Or even we have something similar here, where I think Bini men. It's just that the difference Bini people there. It's just that the difference is that in Bini, our own Bini people, they don't wear anything on top.
But if man wears skirt, what woman go come wear again?
Our large bala waiting now. They go still wear skirts or make them tie wrapper.
But imagine that kind of thing. It will be like say, our president go to promote with other foreigners go to laugh us. They go to laugh us for that.
On the body where we are
imagine they go say this one are funny people.
Hey!
What is the problem?
My money, Hey!
Calm down.
Bawo. My money that I got from customers. Well, that I saw material so this morning before I came here. Hey!
There is no money there. Where did you keep it?
No, calm down. Don't accuse anybody.
No, they didn't even get to this level.
Go check them for inside the motor.
I know the one here now.
Patiently now.
Oh, patiently, Bawo. Maybe she's also looking for it for me.
There is nothing I can say. Go and check your car. Go and check inside the car.
Why are you looking at him? No, sir. Why are you looking at Rosana? Does that steal your money?
Who is accusing Rosana?
You are accusing him because you are looking at him. What happened? Just because I always accuse the boy when my money means for sure. Listen to me, don't accuse him because he's not a thief.
Who is accusing Rosana?
You.
Who is accusing him?
You.
How can I look with my eyes where I want to look?
You can't look at him.
Allah na kan balahi. I wish say wallahi Udo there for here. If say Udo there here now, if Bobo carry and bullet juju, who protect find the money?
Bala, please be serious.
I am serious, man.
Hey, I got this money here.
How much is the money?
150 naira.
I think it's yours. Beside your car, as I was coming, I saw it, but I was not sure if it was money. So I said, let me check. It's a big money. Looking at it, just in your phone.
Come and collect my
If the they're not serious money,
Sit down. Make her tell this woman. I should carry look. No, sir. You don't see your money. Say sorry. Say sorry. Say sorry.
Say sorry.
Did I accuse anybody here? Did I call anybody's name? I don't owe anybody any apology.
Calm down.
Anybody's name here?
We have seen the money. Just calm down.
Did I call anybody's name? Anybody that is guilty can come about their side.
The money has been found.
Otuba, this thing is serious thing.
I know.
That concern we see this one. But you know they do me anyhow.
Come
I never see for my life before. Until I go die. Till I go die, make I no stick. I don't go stick till I die.
Yes.
If you calm down.
Hey,
calm down.
that concern we see this one.
Watch at me.
The money has been found. The money has been found.
Thank God.
That reminds me.
My name is Natu Baba, and some people they say I be superstar. But to me, the real superstars are the people where they go vote for the candidate of their choice without violence. You understand? So for this upcoming election, be my superstar. Go out, go vote. No fighting, no violence. Because election will be war.
Chief. Good morning, sir. You are here already?
No, now my spirit there. My body there for house. What kind of question is that? Were you not the one that fixed this meeting for 8 a.m.? You are now coming by 10 a.m. and start asking me jab questions.
But Chief, now, I'm sorry. Don't you also go late for meetings sometimes? You know now, African time.
No more African time. And no more pancaking of face during office hours. At the end of the day, we will lose valuable time. We will not make progress. If we want to move this nation forward, we must treat business as business and respect time. Change begins with me.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Can we go for the meeting now, Chief?
Better.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
There is an epidemic affecting individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, gender, race, religion, or nationality. It is called domestic violence. It can take a number of forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, economic, religious, or sexual abuse. The ultimate aim of domestic violence is to gain and maintain total control over its victim. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It happens among people of all ages, ethnic background, and economic levels. While women are more commonly victimized, men are also abused, especially verbally and emotionally, although sometimes even physically as well. Unfortunately, domestic violence is among the most underreported crimes worldwide for both men and women. An abuser doesn't play fair. He or she uses fear, guilt, shame, and intimidation to wear down his or her victims and keep them perpetually under his or her control. Abusers may often seem wonderful and perfect initially, but gradually become more aggressive and controlling as the relationship continues. Here are some signs of abusive tendencies: showing jealousy of the victim's family and friends, accusing victim of cheating, controlling who the victim sees, where they go, or what they do, preventing the victim from making his or her own decision, intimidating the victim with guns, knives, or other weapons. Noticing and acknowledging the signs of an abusive relationship is the first step to ending it. Therefore, abusive behavior is never acceptable, whether it is coming from a man or a woman, a teenager or an older adult. We all deserve to be valued, respected, and safe.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
A popular saying in Nigeria goes that at the time a cockerel matures, it begins to crow to tell the world the time of day. This makes a crucial premise for all of us who have come of age, the youths, to lend our voices to a nation set to flip a new page, like the chance to vote and be voted for, whether being a youth, a woman, or a person with disability, and to do this in unity. And to anyone who hasn't been confident enough to exercise these rights, I beg, step out of the dark and come into the light. I mean, your participating in the electoral process is significant, a moment to behold, like that cock crowing in the morning to tell about a difference. No sit down, look. Do something that will count today and be in tomorrow's books. The elections are coming. Register for and get your voter's card, your power card. As a citizen, and especially as a young lady or lad, lend your voice, use your voice, talk, say, and tell the world the time of day.
Hello Nigeria, welcome to Newsline. I am Becky Maduchemu. I will provide a look-see at what we have aligned this Sunday for your information and enjoyment. Yankari is a popular place for its game reserve. There is actually more to this tourist destination than you may have seen or heard. This audiovisual excursion on cue will fascinate you. The tomb of a 19th century Islamic scholar draws large crowds of people every day. We are taking you there. You will see this tomb and watch how it has made the people in that domain richer. Tradition is always on Newsline, and tonight it's a tale of 3 kings. 2 renewed their cultural ties, and 1 married his queen. In between these fabulous events are opinions on indecent dressing, makeup versus makeover, football betting, and life expectancy in Nigeria. I can't wait to spill everything after Ogwa Vivian Oyedibia is done presenting the news this Sunday.
Thank you, Becky. It's Lydia Odije-Ochi. Welcome to the news segment. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Lome, the Republic of Togo, ahead of the Joint Security Summit between ECOWAS and the Economic Community of Central African States. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president, accompanied by the governors of Niger and Cross River States, was received on arrival at the Nasingbe Eyadema International Airport, Lome. He was equally received by the Togolese leader, Farouk Nasingbe. Also at the airport were Nigeria's ambassador to Togo, E.G. Joseph, ministers of Foreign Affairs, Interior, Defense, Trade and Investment, the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defense Staff, and other senior government officials. At the ECOWAS-ECA summit on Monday, President Buhari and the participating African leaders are expected to deliberate on common security threats in the 2 sub-regions with a view to forging concerted strategies in tackling the menace of terrorism, transborder crimes, and other forms of violent extremism. The president will thereafter join other leaders at the 53rd Ordinary Session of ECOWAS, to be dominated by political and security situations, is some member countries, institutional reforms, illegal migration, and the violent clashes between farmers and herders. Nigerian delegation will also participate in a meeting on a single currency for ECOWAS. Being the largest economy in Africa, Nigeria's leadership role is critical in this sub-regional aspiration. Counting has commenced in the just concluded general elections in Mali, where about 8 million registered voters went to the polls to elect their leaders. Foreign Affairs correspondent Makut Simon Macham in Bamako reports that the election was described as generally peaceful in many parts of the country.
9:30 a.m. Sunday in Bamako, Mali, eligible voters were seen at the polling units waiting to exercise their franchise, despite the early morning rains that were just receding. Election officials were also out early in most of the centers visited by the head of the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission to Mali, Kadre Ouedraogo. Voters were seen patiently waiting for their turns, while security was visible at all polling units.
I can say I'm satisfied of the conduct of the election.
At the end of voting and commencement of counting, the situation was said to be calm in most parts of the country, according to reports from the ECOWAS Observer Situation Room.
We can say that all the process is regular so far. We have witnessed that all the officers in the polling station are in place. The representatives of the Electoral Commission and the Constitutional Court are present. The representatives of the candidates are present, and we have witnessed that everything is in order.
With voting over, Malians may have to wait a few days to know who the winner of this election is. If all goes well for any candidate to get the 50% mark, then he will be declared winner. Otherwise, there will be a runoff where the first 2 candidates will again slug it out. From Bamako in Mali, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Juliet, I know reports from Lome that the ministers took 2 days to amend and fine-tune documents for presentation to the meeting of the ECOWAS heads of state holding in Togo.
End of another closed-door meeting. ECOWAS and ECA's ministers have to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and above all be in agreement on the document to be placed before the heads of state and government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, during their July 30th summit in Lomé.
It is about increasing and strengthening the cooperation between the two economic zones in the fight against violent extremism and terrorism. All the various mechanisms that are being put in place, cooperation in the legal field, not confining it to just terrorism, but also drug trafficking, the impact of the environment, and all the other root causes of terrorism and violent extremism in the sub-region.
ECOWAS representatives at the ministers' meeting said, though the issues bordering the ECOWAS-ECAS regions might be numerous, the similarities of the culture and people makes it easy to work together for the common good of citizens of both sides.
We need a common solution to all these problems. So this is an important platform for the two regions to help evolve mechanism to solve them. So the experts had met, and now the ministers have met, which the report will be tendered to the summit of the head of state coming up to resolve all these issues and see how we can come up with solutions to our common problems.
The proposal for a joint security meeting between ECOWAS and ECAS was first initiated in the final communique of the Extraordinary Summit of Heads of States of Central Africa in Chad in 2013. 5 years on, experts say this meet in Lomé is the first step in the series of action both sides need to take to put an end to violent extremism, terrorism, and insecurity in both ECOWAS and ECAS regions. From Lomé in Togo, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
Thanks, Julieta. And back home, the federal government has assembled 1,000-strong military force comprising the Army, Air Force, Police, and Civil Defense to launch fierce attacks on the bandits terrorizing the villages and towns of Zamfara State. Garba Shehu, a senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, in a statement says, following directives by President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian Air Force has begun the deployment of fighter aircraft in Katsina, the airport with the closest proximity to Zamfara State, to make for immediate and effective response to the menace of the bandits. The government had to go to this extent because of limitations of conventional surveillance, as the use of technology could make the task of NAF less problematic. Following directives from the president at the weekend, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, was in Gusau, where he met the Deputy Governor of the state. 3 people have been arrested in connection with the recent attack of villages in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara State. The State Commissioner of Police, Kenneth Ebrimsim, who disclosed this to NTA News in Gusau, however, explained that they are suspected to be informants. We'll bring that report much later in our bulletin. Moving on, the federal government's initiative towards reviving the textile industry has received a boost as new improved varieties of cotton seeds are set to be released to farmers. Agriculturists are of the view that scarcity of cotton contributed largely to the collapse of major textile factories in Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliyu has more.
Cotton production has always been the lifeware of the Nigerian textile industry. However, the sector has since been faced with challenges such as lack of fiber cotton, which is the viable raw material for the industry.
Without cotton, sustainable cotton production, then obviously the Ginas, who are the immediate users of the cotton produced by farmers, will not meet their installed capacities, will not be in profit, they will shut down.
Cotton farmers, on the other hand, have been complaining of low yield as a result of pests and diseases, thereby causing a substantial decrease in cotton production in the country.
We normally spend money much on chemical, like snapper and other things, to prevent it.
Realizing the important role of cotton and textile industry in the economic development of Nigeria, the federal government has engaged the services of scientists to produce high-yielding varieties of cotton seeds that are resistant to pests and diseases. 2 new improved varieties have been certified and released for commercial production and distribution to farmers.
And then it's also high yielding at the same time. And the fiber length is okay. And then the yield is 4.1 to 4.4 tons per hectare. But the conventional cotton only gives you 1 to maybe 1.2 or 1.6 tons per hectare.
And we know that this is going to massively help provide jobs, both job creation and wealth creation, because all those moribund industries, most of them can now spring back to life, our textile industries.
Farmers have described the development as a major breakthrough, with expectations that very soon most textiles industries that went comatose will be resuscitated. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Our next report from Kano says federal government has inaugurated multi-million naira erosion and flood control project in Dumbulum village of Sanyawa local government area of Kano State. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that the project undertaken by the Ecological Fund Office fixed the main bridge which links the village and the main market.
Dumbulum community is a 14 kilometers away from the headquarters of Sanyawa local government area. Predominantly farmers, but the community has been grappling with erosion for many years, making life difficult for them. The intervention by the federal government brought succor by providing access roads and flood control.
And keeping faith with President Muhammadu Buhari's pledge that no part of this country will suffer neglect owing to its geographical location or its political inclination or any other reason, because all parts of Nigeria are very dear to the President's heart. I wish to also call on the residents of Dumbulum and indeed Anyawa local government to reciprocate this good gesture by voting President Muhammadu Buhari and all APC candidates from 2019. This is the only way we can guarantee continuity of projects such as this that impact positively on the lives of Nigerians.
People are happy, cleared, peace of mind that anywhere they are, they don't have any fear of coming back to their houses, whatever amount of rain that is falling.
The project was funded by the Ecological Fund Office and it is expected to last for 20 years. From Kano, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
To further strengthen the existing relationship with the country, Japan has donated 12 ambulances to Nigeria's health sector. Basi Taipang reports that the donation makes the total number of ambulances donated by the Japanese government to 41.
The donation by the Japanese government is to complement the federal government on its efforts at advancing healthcare delivery in the country.
Many fields of our assistance to Nigeria, industry, economic development, or humanitarian assistance of the Northeast people, but the health sector is one of the main pillars.
The minister, while commending Japanese government for the gesture, said it will promote emergency response in the country. He, however, warned beneficiaries to put the ambulance to proper use.
The recovery growth plan has 3 pillars. The first is to revamp our economy. The third is to build a competitive economy. And the second, which is most important, is to invest in our people. So we want to thank you for joining hands with our leadership, the president, and leadership in governance in investing in our people.
The ambulance will be distributed to 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Basi Taipa, NTA News.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has resolved to incorporate new concepts and principles of disaster management as obtained in advanced system for effective and efficient operations. This is part of the 17-point communique issued at the end of a 3-day workshop on repositioning, strengthening and reorientation for zonal coordinators, heads of operation officers and management staff of NEMA. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu has more.
Other top points of the communique include the need to prioritize disaster risk reduction vis-a-vis framework satellite surveillance system for preparedness and mitigation, motivational packages for NEMA staff, as well as proper distribution of equipment across the country for immediate response to any form of disaster were also highlighted. The communique described the current operational structure for disaster management in the federal, state and local government as weak and suggested efforts that are geared towards assistance through capacity building for effective and efficient operations.
All hands must be on deck to ensure that the gap is closed, if not eliminated. In view of the dynamic nature of emergency management, this document must be periodically reviewed and new ones considered necessary developed.
The NEMA boss says the agency has been working around the clock to ensure safety and well-being of Nigerians, especially resident in the flood-prone areas, since the commencement of the 2018 rainy season. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
And our next report from Kaduna says the federal government has expressed willingness to utilize expertise produced by the Air Force Institute of Technology to kickstart operations of the national carrier, the Nigerian Air, being revived by the present administration. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, stated this at the 47th convocation of the Institute in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun reports.
The Air Force Institute of Technology, comprising 5 schools each, consisting various departments, is graduating 257 students who have undergone diploma, degree and postgraduate studies in air engineering and environmental studies, aerospace and chain management, explosive ordnance technology, purchasing and supply, among other disciplines of learning. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, acknowledged the viability of the Institute in producing the required manpower needed for the national air carrier and private operation in Nigerian aviation sector.
So we must begin to think about departing from wholesome purchase of innovations coming from other countries and look inward and develop our own technology that is indigenous to us, that is adaptable.
Chief of Air Staff Sadiq Baba Abubakar and Commandant of the Institute Air Vice Marshal Cletus Odeogulu affirmed that the students have received sufficient training that make them relevant in the aviation industry.
NAV is currently increasing in size, scope of operations and sophistication in the application of technology.
AFIT was upgraded to degree awarding institution recently and has so far graduated 5,686 persons, including personnel of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, and the air officers. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
Sports is next. Team Commandant wins 2018 National Defense College Sports Competition as Benzati returns to manage Tunisia's Carthage Eagles for the 4th time. Amazi Marcus has details on Sports Update.
Team Commandant are champions of the National Defense College Abuja Course 26 sports competition, winning 4 of 7 events: volleyball, tennis, basketball and tug of war, while participant team won in football, squash and badminton. In invitational relay, Team Nigeria Police won the 4x100 meters in 41.73 seconds, followed by Team Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, while Team Federal Fire Service placed third.
The objectives of this sport is therefore also to promote physical fitness, healthy living, and friendship.
Just days after announcing his retirement from football, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Carl Ikeme has been offered a lifeline as a goalkeeper trainer with the national team, made after undergoing training as a goalkeeper coach. General Secretary of Nigeria Football Federation Mohammed Sanusi said although the circumstances leading to Ikeme's retirement are depressing, such does not reduce the fact that Carl Ikeme was patriotic as a Super Eagles goalkeeper. Sanusi revealed NFF will find the money to educate Ikeme for a role in the Super Eagles technical crew, as that is the least the country's football ruling body can do for such a dedicated patriot. The former Super Eagles goalkeeper was diagnosed with acute leukemia in July 2017, but entered into complete remission in June 2018. Wydad Casablanca of Morocco coach Fawzi Benzati has been appointed again as coach of the Tunisian national football team. The Tunisian Football Federation said the 68-year-old is to coach the team for 2 seasons with a possibility of renewal and is expected to select his assistants. The Tunisian had managed the Carthage Eagles on 3 previous occasions and is expected to qualify the country for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, with its first competitive qualifying game away to Swaziland on 7th of September 2018. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Now a quick look at the weather picture across the country.
Hello and welcome to the weather forecast for Monday. We're at a point in the year where monsoonal activities are expected to be very rampant, and what you can see behind me here are activities over the southern part of the country around some point in time on Sunday. Well, high rainfall of amounts above 50 millimeters were reported in places like Ikom, Port Harcourt and Enugu. We expect series of this event to usher us into activities on Sunday, preferably areas around Kano, Nguru, and the northwest could see some overnight to early morning thunderstorms in the wake of the day. While parts of Yola, the Mambila Plateau could also see some isolated thunderstorms with the inclusion of few areas over the central state where the likelihood of rainfall cannot be ruled out. We expect some respite, however, over the southern part of the country due to events of yesterday. And as we progress into the afternoon, we expect scattered thunderstorms to affect most areas in the country, with areas around the northeast, part of Kano, Kaduna, Zaria, a few places over the inland and the coast of the south could also see thunderstorms and rains at regular intervals in the course of the afternoon to the evening period. And that's where we'll leave you for this weather forecast. Do stay tuned as we show you the temperature forecast, and we could also give you updates on our social media outfit. I'm Oliver Damola, and thank you for watching.
It's time to take a break now. We will be back shortly with Newsline. Do stay with us. Don't go away.
African kings, African stars, African heroes, African greatness, African legends. In Africa, our heroes are our legends. Daniel Amokachi, Samika Ford, Raji Jaidi and El Haj Diouf, Mustafa Haji, legends never leave the game. Experience the legendary game with Glow Data Unmatched. Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
A beautiful life and a great future is possible. Stand with Standards Organization of Nigeria. Avoid substandard products, electrical appliances with damaging effects, tires without DOT number, stuffed and rusty edges. They can cause accidents. 12.5 kg LPG cylinders used as camp gas is a disaster waiting to happen. Substandard cables can cause inferno. Other substandard products to avoid include batteries, electrical bulbs, iron rods, pressing iron, brake pads. They will only endanger our today and future. Join hands with SON in ridding our country of substandard products. Don't buy or sell substandard products. See something, say something. Call these numbers. Standards Organization of Nigeria. Improving life through standards.
your white fabrics glowing whiter, your home sparkling and free from germs with Hypo. Make a dazzling impression every time and let your whites speak for you.
My wife. Any other wife is a counterfeit. Oh, Mama.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association, now available in Lime Breeze.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Thanks for staying on the line. Now, those who have had the pleasure of visiting Yankari in Bauchi State describe it as a paradise. This is because the environment is ideal for meditation, relaxation, and concentration, due largely to its uniqueness afforded by Mother Nature. Hamis Urogo, who visited Yankari, says it was a journey of discovery and unforgettable adventure.
Our journey to Yankari rings of adventure and discovery. It was in a day clear. Our spirit is high. Our minds filled with beautiful stories of the area. The environment is untamed. Its wildlife content is indigenous. It boasts of no domestic animals. All the wildlife in the reserve are not in captivity. They roam across the 2,244 square kilometers of the savannah and free. The ecosystem is sacrosanct. Nothing to be defiled, nothing to be killed. There is no human settlement within the reserve presently. There are evidences of civilizations and settlement of the people past though. In context of that, Yankari doubles as a wildlife conservation center and as a research center. This March given, we embark on our trip. Our destination was Ampara, a 6-hour trip from our base, deep inside the reserve. Ampara has remnants of iron smelting furnaces left behind by people of old who must have had their life within the now reserve area. The idea remains that through our trip, we can have rich sightings of various species of wildlife on transit. Well, it happens so, and it happens somehow too. Truly, we ran into quite a variety of animals. Some we were able to capture. Some are super fast for our camera. Moving through the bush is no easy. You are slapped and scratched by overgrowth. Giant flies bite and suck your blood all journey long. Then at a point, our vehicle is stuck in mud. It is over 3 hours away from home. Wildlife prowl freely, and our vehicle is hooked. It was an emergency. All hands were on deck. My cameraman abandoned his craft to cut wood. I saw Fatima Abbas Hassan, our inimitable network newscaster, who was in the trip with us, cutting wood with her left hand. Woos are filed to free the vehicle from her bondage of mud. About 3 hours after our collective labor, the vehicle was free. Not for long anyway. When we eventually arrived here, our vehicle could not execute the climb. We were drawn back dangerously and at pace by so powerful a force I had given we would go down. We did not. Yet the engine of the vehicle went off, and that is trouble. We need prayers, hard work and mechanical abracadabra for the vehicle to start again. After 2 hours of trying, the vehicle revved into life. Relief at last, but we allowed the driver to take the climb himself. Eventually, we arrived at Ampara. And the attraction in there in the iron smelting furnaces. There are 6 of them. But then they speak of one thing, that there is a big settlement around this area, and these settlements have developed the art of iron smelting. Maybe because they are hunters and gatherers, they will be able to do their hunting, and they will be able to do most of their domestic chores using iron. For whatever it is, these people know how to use iron. And in fact, they have a technology by which they can mold their irons into different shapes. And I think that is the essence of Ampara iron smelting furnaces. This is not the only location where the furnaces are found around this area of Ampara. My concern, however, is with the state of the furnaces and whether, in their present form, they illuminate the kind of people that had them, what language they spoke, and what occupation they did, and at what period.
Ankari through the eyes of Hamisu. Don't you just feel like visiting? Go ahead and put it on your tab. Now, have you lost someone to cancer or other chronic ailments of the kidney, liver, or lungs? Well, nothing describes the pain of family members who watch their loved ones suffer and die because they cannot afford money needed for treatment. Agatha Egwari Ojo takes a look at the rising rate of sick Nigerians, appealing to the public for financial assistance to save their lives, and how governments, corporate bodies, and individuals can help.
To be diagnosed with kidney diseases affecting vital organs of the body is a burden, especially when they are chronic. When the physical, emotional, and financial complications set in, it is a different cup of tea altogether. Money for treatment often marks the end of the road for quite a large number of Nigerians because the cost is way beyond their reach and families have had sad tales to tell. For 35-year-old Patience Abiota, a teacher, life has been a misery since she was diagnosed of chronic kidney disease. On an average, she spends over 100,000 naira weekly for dialysis in a private hospital 3 times a week. This is well above her monthly salary of less than 50,000 naira, even though she has been forced to stop work because of her condition. Patience and her husband, a technician, have resorted to begging to pay for dialysis to keep her alive temporarily as they scout for 10 to 12 million naira for transplant abroad.
White blood transfusion, sometimes £2, sometimes £3, cost 18,000 for £2. I'm pleading to the public that they should help me.
The case of Patience is similar to a long list of patients who on daily basis come to the NTA to make appeals for financial assistance from good-spirited Nigerians. From cancer to kidney, liver or lungs-related diseases, their stories are pathetic.
No, I don't even have money for my dialysis. Also, I'm due for another dialysis, but I don't have money.
Margaret Ako is 36 years old. Her joy knew no bounds when at age 19, she obtained admission to study economics at the Lagos State University. While still basking in that euphoria, something terrible happened.
I had a blood pressure and I was rushed into coma for 11 days.
For 17 years, Margaret has been managing the situation, going in and out of hospitals until February this year when she noticed swelling all over her body. Like other times, Margaret went for medical check and then it was discovered that her kidneys both are damaged.
I'm in a terrible pain because the place they're using to do dialysis got infected. One of the legs got infected, which I'm not working properly. I limp. I'm tied to a bed. Once because of the cough, whenever I have fluid on my chest, so I'll cough till I go for another dialysis.
Fred Osarere is Margaret's doctor. He says her case is critical and requires immediate kidney transplant.
She needs about 13 million naira for the transplants, which is going to cover a whole range of expenses. She needs the assistance very urgent. I mean very urgent.
Veronica Okafo and Martin are Margaret's mother and brother.
I'm only one to bath her, clothe her, feed her. So if I'm able to, if she will do all those things by herself. But as of now, I'm stressing too much for her.
The family will have drained her financially.
As it is now, the doctors say Margaret's case gets worse by the day. Standing between her and the much-desired transplants to get her on her feet are the funds she is appealing to all and sundry to help her with.
I'm begging the fellow Nigerians to please come to my aid to help me. I don't want to die. Please.
Touching future. We can match empathy with action. A little from here and there can save many lives. Moving on, women arguably occupy a sizable percentage of the population of most countries. Their role in families and by extension the nation is therefore vital. This is why some women can boldly declare themselves indispensable. Now, the question is, how far can some of these women go to keep their families together without taking over as leaders of their home? What about the men? Are they happy at the rising profile of their wives? Annie Daniels, during the week, collated public perceptions on this issue.
Socially, the man is viewed as the head of the family. In other words, the breadwinner, protector, and he who must be obeyed. On her part, the woman is in charge of the children and oversees the domestic aspects of the units. Thus, the man is always out of the domestic environment, busy making money in order to bring home the bacon. However, there are women like these ones on the streets of Lagos, hawking various items from morning till night. Out of curiosity, I engaged them in a discussion and discovered that they are wives and mothers.
All these women you see, they are all around the wood. Huh? Most of them, they are the husband in the house. Their husband have no work and they want to eat.
I dey help my husband. The work where they do have no money to spare. I go manage this one small.
These women say they are part of their husband's support system, and seeing their children succeed in their ambitions is paramount.
To pay money for school stuff now, every day now money, they will say make them bring.
I have been doing this business for so many years. I have used the proceeds to see my children through school, and they are doing well in their chosen careers. I don't go a-begging.
Feeding at home, it used to cause problem for man. It's not easy. So that is why we leave our woman to go and do that type of business.
Does this mean the women are almost unseating the men?
No. You know, it's because of condition.
No matter how successful a woman is in business, in commerce, in whatever, that brings in money for living, total living of a man, still does not present a woman as a breadwinner.
These respondents have different notions.
The rule of Islam is that no matter the amount of wealth of the lady, the man is the one to take care of the house. Yes, support can come, but we should know that that is not the responsibility of the lady. And by extension, I should say that we should not let our ladies out as we are doing, because by pushing women out, we are opening door for a lot of evils. First, taking care of the children will be difficult.
The woman is earning higher than the husband. You don't want to respect the husband again because she's the breadwinner.
Oh, really? He explains further.
A man will become jealous. It will create fights. You understand? The man may decide not to continue with the relationship again.
These respondents have words to counter the fears of men with this mindset.
So why should he be jealous? If he's jealous, it becomes negative. The consent which makes us marriage, when they were married, is, I promise to be your lawful wedded husband, and I promise to be your lawful wedded wife, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us what? Apart. So, if it's good, beautiful. Love is the basis of it all. So, if because of the economy we are having now, the woman becomes the breadwinner, it's out of love. They should live together. There's nothing wrong in it. And the man too should make conscious effort to do everything but to have job, take care of the family.
You, the man, If at the level you are, your revenue, your income is still very small, make sure you distribute that income, you give it, declare it as if that your little income is bigger than the fat one that your wife is getting. Women are very intelligent. They look at your attitude. They look at your response, your body language, your countenance over things you do. So if you declare the little and there are any more, the love that goes with it, the understanding that goes with it, they quickly grasp it and said, I am proud of my husband. In fact, they will value that your own little thing you are bringing out than the bigger one that they earn.
The consensus is that with the unfavorable economic situation, a wife can meet her husband halfway. And the man who finds himself in this situation should please appreciate and encourage his wife, because she is only playing her role as the biblical helpmeet and not an opponent.
Indeed, Annie, marriage today is partnership, and women must be humble as they contribute to the smooth running of their homes. The tomb of a renowned 19th century Islamic scholar and the founder of the Sokoto Caliphate attracts tourists from different parts of the country. The presence of visitors to the town where this ancient tomb is located has given a boost to commerce in the community. Aminu Bello Kauje will take us to where it's happening big time.
The market located at Hubbaran Shehu in the ancient city of Sokoto was established 30 years ago to serve tourists coming from different parts of the country to visit the tomb of Shehu bin Fodio and his disciples. This is a weekly market that comes to life on Thursdays from around 12 noon and closes at 6 p.m. Visitors buy goods and some display their wares, and the place is crowded with tourists, each wanting to take something back home for his people. What is peculiar about the market is that it is patronized mainly by women. The market has variety of goods needed for the day-to-day activities of families. NTA was curious to find out what is special about the market. Some of the people, especially women, said they prefer going to the market to make purchases, as they describe the market as having extraordinary variety of goods and at cheaper rate than at other markets in Sokoto.
But we choose here because we call here Hubari. They said where it's closer to Sultan's house, and it's a market we come only once in a week, which we come to this market every Thursday. And we sell here very cheap, it's at a cheaper rate than compared to other days of our market days.
I prefer coming to this market because their goods are cheaper than in other markets. Because it is easier to access the goods of my choice, whatever you want, you can get here.
This market is far better than the main market because it is a market that attracts tourists from different localities.
I only came to buy vegetables and herbs for the care of my daughter, who just had a baby.
The market is peculiar in all aspects, as it is located on the road leading to the Sultan's Palace and the ancient tomb of the 19th century jihadist Sheikh Usman bin Fodio, and therefore is a very strategic place for buying and selling. Apart from the people from the neighboring local government in the state, buyers of commodities at the market include those from Yola, Bauchi, Gombe, Katsina, and other parts of the country who come on tour. At the end of their visit, they make purchases of varieties of goods and at cheaper rates to take back home. It is a tourist attraction and the market on Monday and Thursday. But with the scholars coming to visit the tomb and learn some things, make purchases, and some sell their goods. Those from Bauchi, Kano, Yola do come to the tomb to make purchases. Adequate security is provided at the market for the hours it lasts every week. This is to protect buyers and sellers from miscreants, as it simply operates on the streets. Motorists going to the Sultan Palace, to neighboring local government of Kwari, Gwadabawa, Ilela, Gada, and the neighboring Niger Republic through the Hubari roads are forced to seek alternative routes through the bypass.
Thanks for sharing, Aminu. We enjoyed the sights. It's been a smooth first segment. Let's take a break now. When we return, you'll get to know who celebrated what, why, where, and who did it. Stay on the line.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won once you step into the ring." It takes massive investment, dedication, never backing down. In 2005, Glo invested in the world's only privately owned undersea data cable, then connected this to its extensive fiber optic network throughout Nigeria, delivering flexible and affordable data and generous airtime bonuses for everyone. You see, it's not what you step into the ring with that makes you the master. It's everything you did to get you there. Glo Yakata. Get up to 6 gigabytes free data every month for 6 months and 2,200 Naira bonus for every 100 Naira recharge to call all networks where talkers and browsers live. The largest data network, Glo, Grandmasters of Data.
You are beautiful, intelligent, strong, determined, dauntless, talented, extraordinary, unique, innovative, iconic, aging gracefully, aging in comfort. Whoever, wherever, whenever, we are here to enable you to be you. Stanbic IBTC, moving forward.
Share romances, make a friend. Stick together till the end. Share romances, socialize. Share Mentos and be nice.
Mentos candy. Crunchy outside, chewy inside.
Let's have some fun. Who says no to Mentos?
Now introducing the new Mentos Extra Strong Mint.
Babe, who be this?
I got this, okay? Just...
Found it. Honey, you can keep him. I've got this.
Do anything to get your Airtel SIM back on. If you haven't used it for 30 days or more, to enjoy 20 times the recharge value. Recharge 100 Naira and dial *241# to get 2,000 Naira.
50! No, hurry, and then there's a girl.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. In line with its brand positioning as one of Nigeria's leading mobile internet service provider and as part of efforts to provide customers satisfaction, Airtel Nigeria is offering a new package for its subscribers. Airtel says the new offer will empower more Nigerians, improve productivity, and help more telecoms consumers stay connected with their friends and loved ones. Under this new arrangement, the acting chief commercial officer, Airtel Nigeria, Dinesh Basing, said new Airtel clusters will benefit 100% bonus on any data bundle purchased 8 times the value of any recharge, gets 100 credits in main account, 250 bonus on voice, 250 bonus for data, and 3 gigabytes data bundle purchase will get 6 gigabytes instantly within the validity period of 1 month. Airtel reiterates its total commitment to creating innovative products and services that will enrich the lives of its customers as well as enable them succeed. Next up, Oro, the country home of Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, came alive as the politician and him was greeted by the several hundreds of supporters who came out to show solidarity and conviction in the party and President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Anthony Forsen tells us more.
Arrival at the Ilorin International Airport, supporters of the minister enveloped him, drumming, singing and dancing. As his convoy meandered through Ilorin town to Oro, his hometown, the minister waved and cheered all the way. Entering Oro town was now impossible, a situation that forced the minister to halt his convoy at a point just to address the crowd. Even though he gave his address in Yoruba, the soothing words from him is that they should remain steadfast and not despair in the wake of defections in the party from members in the state. With these words, it was a moment of relief, having been assured that all is well, just as the party in Kwara State is under firm control of people he described as loyal. With this dawn, the minister's home was the next port of call, where critical stakeholders have converged to re-strategize and come up with a position for the party. In no time, the stakeholders rose from their meeting with the following resolutions.
The Balogun Fulani-led the executive committee of the APC in Kwara State to be dissolved. Fresh congresses at ward, local government, and state levels be conducted. New members who want to come in from other parties be allowed also to participate, and there should be a level playing ground for all.
The resolution also called on all those who secured federal government appointments on the party platform to resign such appointments with immediate effect or be sacked. They described the gale of defections as a move that has repositioned the party strategically.
We've come to the conclusion that it is only now that we have a true majority in the House. And with that true majority in both arms of National Assembly, it's only then that the party can make its genuine and legitimate contribution to government, and we are going to witness today a new impetus and a new development and progress in the government.
While calling on members and supporters of the party to restate their unflinching support for President Muhammadu Buhari with assurance of a harvest of votes in Kwara come 2019, they should remain calm as there is no cause for alarm, the minister restated.
From Oro, we go to Warri in Delta State. The Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewari II, has paid a thank you visit to the Olu of Warri, Olu Ugiame Ikenwoli in Delta State. The appreciation visit is in furtherance of the age-long bond that binds both kingdoms.
The Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewari II, went to Warri with a large entourage comprised of members of the royal family, including the Crown Prince, princes, princesses, chiefs, dignitaries, notable Edo sons and daughters. It was a remarkable visit, given the long historic relationship of both kingdoms. It cannot be disputed that most nationalities in both Edo and Delta states have direct and indirect links with the Benin origin. A warm and royal welcome was accorded His Royal Majesty Omonobanedo Ukwakolokolo, the Oba of Benin. Chief Brown Mene presented a speech on behalf of the Olu of Warri and acknowledged the uniqueness of the ties that bind the Edo and Ishekiri people.
We are so happy because we have a keen sense of history that makes us deeply appreciate and extol the values of nurturing a special relationship whenever occasion arises for us to do so.
The Benin monarch, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewari II, was deeply overwhelmed by the honor done him. A die-hard traditionalist and historian, he explained the roles of his palace chiefs as only an Oba of his status could. Oba Ewari II expatiated on the relationship between both kingdoms.
This occasion further brings to the fore close affinity for the Ishekiri and Benin people, which to strive to interact closer in order to explore factors that bind us more than those that divide us.
In what appeared to be a vote of thanks, the Olu of Warri, Olu Ogiame Ikenwoli, appreciated the visit of the Oba of Benin and assured that the bond between their kingdoms will wax stronger.
We are yours, your house. Come, talk to you any time or anything. Believe that we are within our Father.
There was a special presentation of gifts to His Royal Majesty. Gifts were also presented to the highly esteemed Oloris of Benin Kingdom by the Olori of Ishekiri Kingdom. The historic visit was brought to a close amidst singing, drumming, and dancing.
Memorable visit there. May the two kings live long and may their reigns be peaceful. The ancient city of Bidda in Niger State witnessed an unprecedented gathering of people from all walks of life, reminiscent of a typical Salah. It was the power-packed wedding ceremony of the Esut Nupe and Chairman, Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Alhaji Yahya Abubakar. The occasion was attended by the creme de la creme of Nigeria. Traditional rulers from within and outside the state turned up to support their own. Jones Ajayi was at this royal wedding.
Shortly after the Jumat prayers in Bidda, dignitaries from within and outside Bidda converged on the residence of the late Waziri Nupe Alhaji Bagudu Waziri to witness the royal wedding between the Etnupe Alhaji Yaya Abubakar and Hassana Bagudu, younger sister to the current Waziri Nupe, Senator Isa Mohammed. The chief imam of Bidda, Sheikh Adamu Yakatu, who led other Islamic clerics to solemnize the wedding, announced the dowry of 50,000 naira, which the family of the bride decided to waive. The chief imam of Bidda prayed for the success of the marriage and urged all those who witnessed it to pray continually for the couple.
The component of marriage is patience, endurance, and also resilient. It's excellent, it's marvelous. In the remembrance of the honor of this house.
Waziri Nupe, Senator Isa Mohammed, who spoke on behalf of the family, thanked all those who identify with them.
I wish His Royal Highness and Hassana Bagudu a very, very happy married life.
From the late Waziri Nupe's residence, the personalities headed to the Wadata Palace of the Etunupe, where they felicitated with the royal bridegroom, Etuyaya Abubakar. Traditional rulers who witnessed the event wished the couple well.
I have to thank God that He has brought us today to see the light of the day, and that He will bless this marriage.
You wish the couple well, wish them blissful relationship, a blessed relationship. You pray that Almighty Allah will give them fruits of womb.
It's a thing of pride for all in Nupe land, for this kind of exemplary leadership that His Royalness Nupe is showing.
Marriage in Islam is a religious obligation, and whoever God has ordained will certainly be brought together by God.
Etuyaya Abubakar appreciated all those who came to rejoice with him.
We are very grateful to Almighty Allah for this opportunity, and we pray Almighty Allah to give us peace and prosperity in this marriage.
Etuyaya Abubakar now has 4 wives in line with Islamic injunction.
Happy married life to the Esut Nupe. God bless your home. The bond of marriage involves two people from different backgrounds. It also connects the families of the couple, like it did with the houses of Zubairu Imam Galadima and Ahmed Modibo when their beloved children formalized their love. Abdullahi Mustafa takes the story from here.
The ancient city of Kano witnessed influx of people who thronged the Zubairiya Hall, a community meeting point of the Galadanchi area. Their coming was to witness the wedding fatia of Umar Ahmad Modibo and his heartthrob, Jawhar Zubair Imam. The solemnization was formalized by the Chief Imam of Galadanchi, Ustaz Farooq Sani Muhammad, after the payment of 100,000 naira as dowry by the groom's representative. Kano State Deputy Governor Professor Hafiz Abubakar was among dignitaries present.
We pray to Allah to bless the marriage, the groom and the bride.
Parents and relations of the couple also had similar words of goodwill to the couple.
And I pray God will guide them and bless their marriage. For Jawar and Umar, it is a very important day, and for us, their relatives, it is also a very important day, alhamdulillah.
We wish them a very fruitful marital life, blessed with children and living in the best way of Islam.
Wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this marriage and give them beautiful and blessed children.
Prior to the solemnization, the two families came together at a dinner in honor of the couple. Relations, friends, and well-wishers took turns in dancing to various wedding songs. The groom, Umar, and bride Jawhar were the happiest.
So it's something that, alhamdulillah, we've been waiting for a long time and achieved.
It's more of ibadah. That was my main reason.
Congratulations to the bride and groom. Now, when ambassadors and high commissioners come together, it is usually for diplomatic reasons, but not this time. The Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, took culture to the doorsteps of some diplomats as they hosted the Diplomatic Corps in Abuja ahead of the 11th edition of the International Arts and Crafts Expo. Gabriel Odu was there for Newsline.
Free Nigeria. You are welcome to Nigeria. The good people of Nigeria saying welcome. And saying you are welcome.
That sets the tone for the diplomatic corps to relish and savor the richness of Nigeria's arts and crafts, music and dance, provided by the National Council for Arts and Culture cultural troupe. Thrilled by the hospitality accorded them, the diplomatic corps commended the efforts of NCAC and promised to mobilize their countries to participate in the upcoming International Expo. Equally thrilled by the cultural performance, NTA's Director of News, Aliu Barbarao, believes that Nigeria's rich cultural diversity is indeed our strength.
As the North is different from the South, so is the East different from the West. Yet, over the horizon, there's one common feature, a representation of one community.
Our culture, our pride is a slogan the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, says is helping to change the narrative about Nigeria.
If we have the opportunity to showcase the strength of our country culturally, it will reduce the wrong impression and will change the narratives of who we are as a people. The time has come, we should not allow people telling our stories for us. We should tell our own story.
But culture is very key to the development of a nation. And as I said, someone very wise from my elders said, if the society is a computer, then culture is the software that makes the computer work.
Nice one there by the DG, National Council for Arts and Culture. Hope you're enjoying our mixed grill so far. We have more juicy stories for your viewing pleasure. Stay with us. Now to some messages.
Hate speech is not a joke.
It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, and the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Gozie Anwuka, cordially invites the Honorable Commissioners for Education in the 36 states, the FCT Education Secretary, Permanent Secretaries of Education Chairmen, States Universal Basic Education Boards, Heads of Education Parastatals and Agencies, Directors of Education and all education stakeholders to the 63rd National Council on Education meeting, holding as follows. Date, Monday 30th July to Thursday 2nd August 2018. Venue, official session, Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja. Ministerial session, International Conference Center, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. Announcer, Architect Sonny Echono, Permanent Secretary.
If you don't get money, hide your face. You can call me small doctor. Omo ya teacher. What's it bad penalty or throwing?
Smartphone network.
I no longer worry about deodorant stains with Nivea Invisible for black and white deodorant. No white marks on black and no yellow stains on white. My black stays black and white stays white longer. Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea.
Also available, Nivea Men Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea Men. It starts with you.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three people.
You are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome. You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have.
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Glad to have you back. It is believed that the way a person dresses is a reflection of that person. This explains why society frowns at indecent dressing. It gets alarming when the culprit is not just female, but a young one at that. Lately, it has been observed that some teenagers now alter their school uniforms or mufti into skimpy outfits. Beauty Egobamie in Enugu mirrors this trend that is sweeping across schools in that axis.
Investigation into these findings took us to several secondary schools in the metropolis, and in almost all the schools visited was the disturbing sight of these teenagers in a repulsive manner. Most of them wore their uniforms too high above the knee level and so tight that there is almost nothing left to the imagination. The skirts are so tight-fitted that most often walking becomes too difficult for the girls. This trend is a clear departure from what it used to be when school principals and teachers examine the appearance of students during assembly, and those not properly dressed are either punished or sent home.
From JS1, once they saw their clothes by their parents, they go and design it. Hugging nature of the clothes and short skirts. That's a problem. Sometimes here we don't take it lying low.
Today, without a care in the world, these girls, irrespective of their class, are seen on the streets very comfortable in the skimpy uniforms, which brings to mind the question of what could be responsible for this trend. Is it the psychological makeup of the students or peer group influence? Even when tertiary schools try to curb this trend by introducing wearing of uniforms in different departments.
Why are you wearing short dress to school?
Nothing.
Don't they punish you in school for wearing short dress?
Yeah.
Chidima, why are you wearing short dress to school now? Which class are you?
SS1A.
Did they punish you in school for wearing short dress?
No. It's not that it's short. You know, the woman that sold it for me, she did not sold it down. She made it a flay. So on the process of making it to be straight, it now became tight, and when I'm going out, to be raising up a bit.
Mr. Ima Ofodu, a school principal, said the problem is a reflection of the moral decadence and misplacement of value in the society.
If you said that as you use the razor blade to reduce it, or do it for yourself, because you can't even open your legs, you can't even jump across the gutter. There's a big problem.
A guidance counselor, Bernardine Ebere, says age is a major factor, stressing that as teenagers, they are vulnerable to all sorts of external pressure and most likely to go into aventurism. Therefore, they must be guided.
I normally call them inside my office and tell them that you look the way you dress. That's without wearing the normal dress, the way we used to wear under the knee, they will look like a harlot.
For these parents, it is an individual matter because some students go through the system successfully.
If the parents brought them up well, in a Christian way, they wouldn't be dressing like that.
At times when you harass them in the school, they wait for you on the road. So that's why I don't care about what they're wearing or what they're dressing.
Education remains a core sector in the development strategies of all nations. This is because its quality influences the sustainability of other development efforts.
There is no doubt that the enormous tax of piloting the affairs of this country will one day rest squarely on the shoulders of these young ones. So what is instructive is that they should be brought up academically and most importantly morally, so that they will be well equipped to handle this onerous task. After all, the saying is that you should train a child the way he should grow, so that when he grows, he will not depart from it.
Yes, beauty, parents, and school authorities must swing into action. Those girls need steady guidance. The fashion industry keeps evolving, and beauty has more or less become achievable as this dynamic industry churns out products to make that possible. Annie Daniels went to town to have a feel of some of these products that not only enhance the outlook of people, but transform their overall appearance.
Facial enhancement. People, women in particular, apply makeup. However, professionals now dominate this field of fashion. Fabulous hairstyles, gorgeous outfits, designer shoes and power bags are considered inadequate without makeup. Makeup is used to achieve the perfect overall look, depending on the occasion.
In order to look more enhanced and look more beautiful, you need to add some touch-ups to your face. For instance, if you make up now, they will totally not recognize you because you look more beautiful.
Apart from enhancement of beauty, makeup is more or less an addiction.
Makeup gives me confidence. They're like, oh, I like your face. What do you use? And all that. So I've never stayed a day without makeup because I like to wear makeup. I like to look good.
Teenage girls are not left out of the trend. So they experiment with all kinds of cosmetics and makeups, while women who like to look younger rely on concealers, foundation, powders, and brilliant hues of lipsticks to soften wrinkles, reduce fine lines, and glow.
If they see you in the night, like if you wash your face, you will be old. But now you'll be like a small baby now. But if you clean the makeup, you'll be like old person.
This is not face makeup, this is not general makeup, this is makeover. She has some marks, she has some black edge. If you look very well through her face, you will see that there is no mark. We've covered everything, everything has been covered.
I volunteered to be a muse, and for about an hour, I sat through a complete makeover session. The artist worked on my face using various shades and colors.
First thing I did on your face, I tried to carve your brow.
Bolanle says with skillful application, facial scars and other skin blemishes can become invisible as long as the makeup remains.
You see, the brush will allow it to lay very well and it will make it look more professional. If I put the lipstick directly on your lip, it might be too much and it might not give me what I want. But with my brush, I can easily control it. This is what I want.
After spending quality time here and seeing my face in the mirror, I finally understood why some argue that makeup is magic. However, some respondents do not agree with me.
There's a lot of reasons why women make up. Number one, to entice men. No matter your age, whether a child, a youth, or adult, an old person, God has given you a natural beauty. Keep to that beauty.
Like this one now, she rubbed the powder that fits her. But the eye, there's some ashes on the eye and it's not good.
In spite of what they feel, the professional makeup artist has a word for those who care.
Apart from makeup, people should eat well so that they can look gorgeous. As you can see, I'm not putting makeup, I look gorgeous because I eat fruits, vegetables.
In spite of all the efforts, the popular opinion remains that beauty is a state of mind, not a question of whether you are pretty or unattractive, young or old. It is all about courage and confidence. Be that as it may, makeup, when applied correctly, enhances a person's natural beauty. Becky, don't you agree with me?
I would say makeup is bae. And by the way, Annie is finally Instagram compliant. Congrats to her. We'll take our last commercial break now. Please stay on the line.
The doers. The ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls. Here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Here's to the dreamers. The doers. The ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls. Here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Here's to the dreamers. The doers. The ones who feel everything but fear nothing. To those who stride with courage in their hearts and victory in their souls. Here's to you. Here's to progress. Your progress. Keep walking.
Welcome back. Fear, anxiety, uncertainty are the mixed feelings that affect a family whenever the breadwinner dies. But how many care to extend a hand of charity to the family of the deceased after his demise, especially when money is involved? Mumso Damian Dati came across a good Nigerian who exemplifies what true love is.
The smallest unit of the society is the family, which is always the closest to every individual member in his social life. It is indeed the protector and canopy that gives the individual confidence to pursue the goals of life, especially offsprings. Such protection and self-actualization the family gives could suddenly come to a stop when death occurs, especially to the parents, in particular the father, who, going by the Nigerian parlance, is the breadwinner. The going could be good when that breadwinner is alive, irrespective of whatever social class he belongs to in the society, because a breadwinner is a breadwinner to his family. Feeding, clothing, and the welfare of his family are always his major concern, and the pursuit of the goal of life. Education is one fundamental role of a family's breadwinner.
2 times 1, 2 times 2, 4.
To this respect, the child certainly becomes the worst hit at the death of a father, especially at school age, in these days of costs in various standards, particularly with advanced and education pursuit, with its widened scope of coverage in various fields of human endeavor. The death of the father sends the rest of the members of the family in panic, especially in pursuit of education. And if that breadwinner is a public worker, there must be a long period of waiting to process the dues of the deceased.
Just imagine you having 2 hands and one is chopped off. I have to at least struggle.
Khadija Ali Muhammad, a bright and intelligent student, is one of such victims who lost her father in the line of duty and her mother shortly after death. Orphaned at a tender age and still in school with 2 of her siblings, all hope was lost until the proprietor and chairman of her school stepped in.
Your father died trying to combat crime in Abuja. His death will not be in vain.
For the 3 children left behind, Zainab, Khadija, and Yahya Amir, we are very, very grateful. They've been on the scholarship here, and I don't know really if without this, life would have been the same.
If a testator's parent dies, this man of God will give a scholarship to the children, no matter how many they are, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim. And as you
On graduation from secondary school, there were concerns on how to further her studies when the same chairman, in his magnanimity, took it upon himself again to ensure that her tertiary education is secured.
Because of your father's death, we will not say no to you. You must complete your education.
It is a gesture many Nigerians feel should be encouraged.
It's a very wonderful school. The chairman is so selfless, he's so nice, he's so helpful.
I wish every other business owners can be like him. This nation will be a different place.
They care for the career of their staff. They also care for the well-being of their staff. They care for virtually everything.
Lesson in love, all the better to inspire us to do the same. Thank you so much for being such great company. We'll step down now, but we'll be back same time next week with the most interesting package. And for more interesting package, in the next 5 minutes, Ali Baba will be taking you seriously. Hello, Ali.
Hey, hi, how are you?
We missed you last week.
Oh, yes, I decamped. Oh, no, sorry. But I'm back now. I'm back.
Yeah. From me, good night and God bless Nigeria.